Hello and welcome to a brand new edition of Policy Watch. I am Tina Jha. Starting October this year, the government will issue uniform driving licenses and vehicle registration cards across the country. The new vehicle documents will not just be uniform in look, color and design, but will also have the same security features. The new smart driving licenses and registration certificates will have microchips with QR codes. They will also be enabled with the near-field communication, that is the NFC feature, similar to what is used in the ATM cards. This will enable traffic enforcers with handheld devices to easily access details stored in these cards. In addition, the new driving license cards will have details of a driver's declaration to donate organs and also mention if he or she is driving a specially designed vehicle meant for the physically challenged. The move to standardize vehicle documents was announced by the government last year. The nationwide rollout of the new system is expected to be completed in a few months from now. On the show today, we discuss the benefits of the new smart driving license cards and registration certificates. We also try and understand the changes it will bring about in the way all of us drive. Joining me on this edition of the program are Mr. Subhash Chand, Principal Scientist and Head, Traffic Engineering and Safety Division, CRRI. And Professor P.K. Sarkar, Director, Transportation, Asian Institute of Transport Development. We're also being joined by Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, on Skype. A very warm welcome, gentlemen, for joining me on the show. Let me begin the program. Let me come to you first, Dr. Singh. One of the major problems that we face in India is the rising number of road accidents. All of us know the Indian roads are very dangerous to drive on. Every year, we lose about 1 lakh lives to road accidents. Now, with this uniform policy, will we be able to check those number of rising cases, especially the hit-and-run cases, in cases where the drivers are absconding and not even, they're not even brought to book?
Tina, very well said. This is the best thing that has possibly happened in the year 2019 by subscribing to an internationally best practice as far as road transport is concerned.
Yes.
Apart from the fact that we pay a very heavy price in terms of the casualties on the roadside, let me remind you and the respected panelists that the driving license is an important identification paper and a document. More often than not, you hear drivers brazenly telling the law enforcement agencies and those who are victims of accident that this is India. You can get any number of driving licenses made for a fee. I would not like to believe, but the ground reality is that you can get multiple driving licenses. With this in place, the QRs and the intelligent features, I think that the end of fake licenses is here. And now the multifarious advantages that you have mentioned, India will only stand to gain, and I think it is a wonderful asset in the hands of those driving and everybody who is traveling on the roadside, Tina.
Mr. Sarkar, coming to you now. Help us understand how this uniform system, the new smart card system, will help prevent the bogus licenses that people are able to procure at very cheap prices.
Actually, I understand that there is a Vahan and Sarathi is already been in place right now. And once I have a uniform driving license, I do not have any kind of manipulative approach to get another driving license from other states. So that means, and it is already, all the details have been fed in the microchip. Even if you want to donate your organ after some eventuality, that provision also there. Blood group is there. It's unique in terms of its approach. I feel that once it is done, nobody will be able to manipulate the bogus license. I understand, in my knowledge, it is around 25% people having that bogus license.
Yes.
They have at least multiple license. I think that is going to be totally eliminated. That is one major benefit is that, and once you get caught, and the aspect is that if you have been caught in another number of times, so immediately when you swipe through that near field communication, all details is going to be revealed. So that means there is no way that you can cheat policemen or you can try to do any kind of jugglery. So I think that it's a very unique system and it should have been done, I think, 5 years back. I will also say that once it is done, when that intelligent transport systems are in place, I think you will not have any place to manipulate and escape the situation. And this is a wonderful move. I welcome this move from my core of my heart.
Mr. Subhash Chandra, this new system enables the government to have this central database. How is it going to, because all these things that we discussed at the moment, what Dr. Singh pointed out, what Mr. Sarkar said, are something that benefit the government. How do we as drivers benefit from the new uniform policy?
Yes, Tina. When there is a central data system, you know that you are a registered vehicle owner and you have your own driving license, and nobody is going to have a fake, and nobody is going to have a duplicate license or multiple license. So you own it. You tend to then behave in a responsible manner, and you understand the responsibility also. On the other hand, government is going to benefit because they have the track on the errant drivers, because our infrastructure is becoming up to date. They are state-of-the-art roads nowadays, state-of-the-art vehicles are there, but we do not have the state-of-the-art or the even learned drivers. And they are, moreover that, they are having multiple licenses. If you penalize, you find some driver who is not fit for driving, they have another license, so you cannot catch hold of them. So in doing that way, actually, many of the drivers who are responsible, sometimes they have to actually meet with the accident because of the fault of these errant drivers. Those are really very, very hazardous for our safety. So they will feel safe. On the other hand, the drivers who commit the mistakes or they are not fit for that, they can be curtailed or they can be actually rectified. And there is sense of responsibility definitely going to be. There is a huge change in safety scenario in India.
Mr. Singh, let me come back to you again. Mr. Subhash Chandra says that, with this uniform policy system, those who have, who pertain to procure these bogus licenses will not be able to do so again. But what about those who already have these licenses, who have got these licenses made without actually going through the real driving tests? What happens to those? Will a fresh round of tests be conducted for them before issuing them this uniform new smart card?
Tina, I think there are multiple pronged strategy that has to be ensured. Firstly, every time a license is renewed, rest assured the new systems will be in place. Now the police have their own database of all the drivers involved in accident or wherever a crime has happened. I think the police need to update their data and have a database and shared all over India of all those delinquent drivers. You don't have multiple licenses, I don't have multiple licenses, but there are special interest people who have multiple licenses for a devious purpose. Okay. And it should not be difficult for the police to identify them by having a database to begin with in the first go. All those involved in accidents and criminal activity, multiple accident cases. And then if this data is shared, I think it's only a matter of time before the grain is sifted from the shaft and you identify the black sheep of those in the drivers. The more hazard, I would like to add to Dr. Subhash Chandra's viewpoint that the roads will be much safer when you have these malignant people outside the road. As John Donne had said, I run to death and death runs to me as fast and all my pleasures are like those of yesterday. When you identify, remove those malignant influence on the roadside, then I think you make the roads much safer for all of us.
Mr. Sarkar, do you think the states have been given enough time to, get these cards renewed, the older ones renewed, and also to provide the new cards to users? Because the announcement was made just last year in October, sometime in October, and now it's being implemented from October 2019. So in just about a year, do the states have enough time to, catch up with the new policy?
The question is that your mindset. If you feel that it has got to be done, if you have a willpower, I don't think anything is impossible. So depending on how the state is taking consciously and take the matter forward and see that it gets implemented. So it's a basically, I said, all keeping in view the today's accident scenario, I think all states should rise to the occasion and take up as a challenge. There is a teething problem, I understand, but we have to work on this teething problem. Certainly. I think we should do that because this is a noble move, and as Subhash Chandra and Mr. Singh also is trying to point out, it is going to ensure a value of safety. And in fact, whenever we have a smart card like this, people will think thrice how whether we will do the over speeding or do violate the traffic rules. They should be cautious, and this cautiousness will bring down the level of accidents.
What about the cost factor, Mr. Chandra? Is it cost effective?
Yeah, definitely it is going to be very, very cost effective. As I learned that the cost involved will be not more than 20 rupee. And with that small cost, if you are doing such a huge benefit, which is country was expecting it for the last so many years, we have been dealing with the problem of accidents and road deaths, which is more than 1.5 lakh per year. Now we have been able to just control it because of infrastructure upgradation has happened. But nothing has happened to the drivers who are using this infrastructure, which we are working hard to improve it day by day. Now this is the gray area which is very much essential to cater to. And once this is catered to, definitely everybody is going to get benefit. And you know that we cannot plan our infrastructure or design all the infrastructure for all the irrelevant behavior, all the everything. There are some scientific rules and regulations which can design an infrastructure for a systematic move of that. So driver are expected to behave in some regimented manner. Then we can scientifically design the roads. But if you do not know anything about the drivers, how they are going to behave, they are really dangerous to the people who are driving safely on the road. So this move is going to be benefiting a huge in the long run. And as far as Professor Sarkar told, there is a bill, there is a way. There is enough time and state has nothing to do. They have to just enter 1 or 2 extra field in the data. Everything, design, its features and portals, everything is already worked out.
And the good thing is that it is all paperless.
Yes, paperless.
Yeah, it's going to be paperless. So there is nothing. People do not have to actually go for the agents and all that. They can directly apply for the licenses online and they will be getting it without hassle-free. Another thing required is in this area, a driver has to be trained. So there should be a component of training, which is the government is pressing that also. They are uniform, making it uniform how to issue a license. What are the required test and training for these drivers to issue a valid license? So definitely new licenses are going to be very, very strict and scientific. And the older one, whenever they are going for renewal, they will get a chance and they will be tested also. And if there is some modification required or some treatment is required, they will be advised for that. There are methods to actually rectify some of the problems like vision problem, fatigue problem, or vision problem, or sight seeing activities that can be modified with the help of spectacles or some physiotherapy methods which are available for drivers to become more fit in near future. Definitely going to help in safety in a great way.
But how can the private vehicles be distinguished with the commercial vehicles through this card? Or help us understand. So if I am a driver with a private car and I have a uniform driving license, so if suppose in the near future I intend to change to being a commercial driver, how does this help me or affect me, and what are the changes that it brings about in the way I procure my uniform driving license?
Just I'd like to add one point, because it's a very noble move. What you need to do, what I have seen all over particularly all European countries, Australia, they have systems called graduated driving license systems. I do not know you are aware of that. And this has been very successful. What you exactly said, suppose if somebody wants to get into the commercial driving, it's not that you will take the vehicle and go on to the road. He has got to be graduated to make his fast driving on the roads under supervision.
Okay.
So what is being done in that country, when you are giving a driving license, learner license, then you are thoroughly examined the fast stage and you are given some time, 6-month time. You are being supervised under somebody's control who is more than 25 years age, and then after supervision, then you go to the next stage. And of course, you have a lot of restriction. You can only drive in a single carriageway. You cannot drive more than 50 km/h. You cannot drive during the night time. You cannot drive in the expressway. So after having done that, then they find that you are efficient. Then your supervision is not needed.
Okay.
Then you drive for 1 year or 2 years. Then after that, you ask for a full-fledged license. So it's a graduated move. So therefore, if I have to go into the commercial driving, what you call this arena, I have to be supervised by commercial driver in order to ensure that I am driving with a great deal of confidence on the roads. That has got to be done along with, I think this is going to be the next stage, This is a good move. Your graduated driving license has to come in the next stage. That is my feeling.
All right. Dr. Vikram Singh, another significant feature of this uniform driving license is that apart from your personal details, it is also going to have an emergency contact number. And now this, I believe, is going to be very, very beneficial for the police in cases where accidents happen and the victims are unidentified, isn't it?
Absolutely, Tina. This feature, apart from being a lifeline to the driver in case of distress, would also identify with this mobile and the number that the person has given as the helpline number and emergency assistance number. This also would be indicative. I can disclose it to you that one mobile number is like disclosing your heart to the law enforcement agencies.
Yes.
The frequently called number, the frequently accessed numbers, the database, the SMSs received, generated, and what have you. It in fact opened the window to the behavior and conduct of the person indeed. And after subject to verification, this indeed will be a very strong key in the hands of law enforcement agencies, the police, the traffic police officers as well.
Certainly. Mr. Chand, like he pointed out, apart from this emergency contact number, there is another feature in which, it carries a declaration of whether the person who's behind the wheels wants to donate the organs. So, I mean, God forbid if somebody meets an accident and is, in a situation where the person is unidentified, taken to a hospital. So, using this card, one is able to understand in the hospital whether the person was willing to donate the organs or, asked for it. And this will help them, go down this noble cause and not waste the person's will that the person wanted to while he or she was alive. How good is that move? Definitely.
Tina, it is a very, very noble move in that respect, because many a person do want to actually donate their actually organs on death if it happens in the accident or anywhere otherwise also. So it will fulfill that requirement, because after accident this is the minimum thing one can do even after the death. So it will definitely help the people who are needing these vital organs which are necessary, and our society is suffering from that. So definitely both are benefited. Society is benefited, and the person who has died and he has the will to donate something or do something for the society where he has lived, his desire will be fulfilled. And definitely many people will be getting benefit out of that, because in many of cases you are not able to identify the driver and you don't identify his last will, what he wanted to do that. Yes. So it is fulfilling both the requirements. It's a great move, in fact, that way.
So after, we've spoken at length about the benefits of the uniform driving license card, do you think it's going to act as a deterrent for those who engage in rash driving and, lead to such road accidents? And knowing that, if you have engaged in a hit and run case, or even, a meager fine has been imposed on you, the data is with the police who has that handheld device. So just by, swiping that card, your entire past doings, are present in front of the traffic police. So do you think it's going to act as a deterrent?
Obviously it's going to be deterrent, no doubt about it, but I want to also emphasize this is not going to be this is going to be the first move. In addition to, there are a number of moves are necessary that need to be built into systems. As I see developed countries, you have got to build your intelligent transport systems, which basically you must have seen ring road, the operation has already been started, red light detection violations, speed detection violation systems. Once even sometimes when there is an accident, you getting the details of driver. Sometimes, as you say, somebody doing a rash driving, if you cannot capture him on camera, how you are going to trace him?
Yes.
The question is that when ITS also is built in the form of red light violation detection, speed violation detection, they will be captured. Their registration number will be available, and and it will go to the server. Server will find the details of the vehicle owner.
Okay.
And therefore, in case if he does any kind of violation, all going to be revealed with no time. So therefore, your punishment will be much more deterrent. So that means what I mean to say, smart driving, fantastic. Then try to bring your graduated driving license scheme, which needs you to be better trained to be a good driver. Even you can graduate from passenger driving to the commercial driver. Along with our network system, should be a forgiving network systems, which is basically have ITS totally support. So once you have, I can tell you with confidence that Sweden, Denmark, they have a vision, zero vision, no accident, no fatality. I think that we'll get into that kind of domain with the confidence that well, with no time, we are going to have a zero fatality.
And this is something that we desperately want, because our roads are increasingly becoming more and more dangerous. Dr. Singh, this is one noble step, as all of us have been pointing out. What, according to you, are your suggestions through which we can make our road transport more and more safer in the country?
We have already covered those two topics. The most important, as Professor Chandra has said, training of drivers. I have spent half of my waking hours commuting by my cars and by my staff car. I find it is difficult to find a well-trained driver.
Yes.
Then upgradation of our database and upgradation of our records, so that we are not caught on the wrong foot ever. When you swipe the card, you indeed come up with the up-to-date and all the true facts, including his criminal history, violations and traffic challans, so that you are in a position to check and have and address the fault lines that may come into your notice.
Mr. Chandra, because we've been pointing out about road safety and how to improve it, make it more effective. One area of concern in our country is that, people are not afraid of, for example, a person riding a motorcycle will wear a helmet only because of fear of the traffic police and not because it saves his or her life. Similarly, with those driving cars, they will put on a seatbelt only when they look at the traffic police. So can we have a system in place through which, it is made mandatory, although we have this fine system, but still we've seen it's not as effective. Do you think a system can be brought into place where these two things that, are the first basic step to save a person's life? India desperately needs that?
Definitely, Tina. As Singh Saab has told it, it will help police in enforcement and pointing out or targeting the those who are committing the mistakes or those who are not obeying the traffic rules. So definitely it will be a deterrent for those people who think that this is a system, it will go like that. So they have definitely a deterrent for them. They will behave in a manner they should be behaving.
I just like to add one point, what he says, that now that Motor Vehicle Amendment Bill has been introduced and passed in Lok Sabha. It is awaited in Rajya Sabha.
Yes.
So once the Motor Vehicle Act is passed in Rajya Sabha, then the question you raised, this is not going to be a problem. If I do not wear a helmet, I have to pay 5,000 rupees as a punishment charge. So therefore, all is going to be set right with no time.
Yes,
question is that please bring the Motor Vehicle Amendment Bill immediately. Everything will be set right as far as the enforcement is concerned.
But don't you think that it gives rise to the system that, the back channel thing that people always try. You are caught riding without a helmet, you hand over 500 rupees, 100 rupees to the traffic police.
You have the ITS systems. You cannot do any kind of manipulation or jugglery. So you are going to get caught in the camera. So where you will do the bribery business?
And once your driving license is confiscated.
It's a transparent systems. So that's why you will not find this kind of bribery systems in developed countries. If you get caught, you are punished. No problem.
Okay, one quick closing comment from you, Mr. Chandra. How can we make our roads, safety and transportation more safer in the country? Pan-India I'm talking about.
Yeah, Tina, there are 5 pillars of road safety. Unless all 5 pillars are working hand in hand, the road safety is not going to be effective. One is the road safety management, which is the government of India is very serious about it. They are managing it across the country from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. And definitely it is going to work in that way. And there is safe engineering, safe road infrastructure. People are working hard on that. Ministry is pushing it hard. NHI is doing, CRI is doing. We are pushing it and we are making the infrastructure state of the art that is comparative with the developed world. And another aspect we are talking about is the vehicle. That is the third pillar. We are trying hard. Even the vehicle manufacturing industry is trying to make their vehicles safe as possible, and they are also of the international standard. Okay. Then the fourth component of that pillar is that safe users. So that is being targeted through this. This is the one step wherein uniform licensing system, driving license system is being catered to, and Motor Vehicle Act is being brought into. then high security license plate, which is already being implemented and is being implemented in a very aggressive manner. This is also going to happen. Like another pillar is also there, which is education and enforcement. This new license system is going to help the enforcement agencies to enforce it in a better manner.
Okay.
But on the other hand, as you told, that the people do not wear the helmets. They wear it on the fear of the being caught,
yes.
like seat belts. So there is an education part of that. People has to value their own life. You see, there is a very, very rash and irresponsible behavior coming out of these actually unruly systems. When this system will get ruly and they are going to be transparent, other systems are going to modify. They will suspect the system and definitely it is going to happen. So we need to actually sensitize the people about the life, about the danger. We are killing more than 400 people per day.
Yes.
This is a panic. Nobody can believe it, and we have to do it very urgently. 400 people dying every day is a huge thing.
It's a very sad
Two jumbo jet crashing a day. So this will happen with the education. People have to be more responsible. They have to behave the way they want to. They are likely to behave in that manner. And definitely once they value the life, it is going to change. So education has to be brought into the different users and from the school level itself, from the children, it has a huge impact. Once your child restricts you to not to disobey the rule, you are not going to disobey this.
Certainly.
So it has to come from the culture. It begins with our children. So
Professor Sir.
I'll just add what he said. He said 5 pillars, I will say 5E. 5E is similar to that: engineering, education, enforcement, emergency, and which many people do not talk, environment. Because if the weather is inclement weather, then there is a likelihood that you do not get the sufficient distance.
Yes.
So that means you need to bring the ITS there. ITS means in case you are poor in what you call visibility, the vehicle will alert you that there is a problem, be cautious, and you get an alarm in the vehicle. So that will also take care. So that means ITS has to come as a part of your zero visibility.
Dr. Singh, one quick closing remark from you. Do you think the ITS system is going to transform the mode of transportation in India?
It is going to bring about a mini revolution, and I think for the very positive mini revolution. As also duly supplemented by other technologies like satellite imaging, the Google Maps upgradation, and thirdly also the training of drivers, the training of the public, and superimposed and smart CCTV systems, so that any flaw in the system is detected and addressed immediately. Also, not to mention that apart from these value additions, we should also have Lok Adalats sitting on holidays to address all the traffic challans on a fast-forward mode.
Okay. All right, on that note, I'll have to call it a wrap on this edition of Policy Watch. Thank you to all my distinguished panelists for, putting forth such a fruitful discussion and making us all aware of the changes that are required in transforming our road transportation. Thank you so much, all of you, for your time.